Ladies and gentlemen, Florida Gators football is back, baby. Sorry, that was really loud, but we're back.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Friday. I am Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI. We're going to have bonus content for you this weekend, just so you know. Unclear yet about going live after the game tomorrow, but we will have, I believe, Isaac Shade of Locked On College Basketball is going to join us for a show that we're going to release either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when we get together to record it. And Brian Smith, Locked On's recruiting insider, is going to be here too. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. And yesterday was the first day of spring practice for the Florida Gators. Yesterday, before practice, Billy Napier did his usual press conference, and there were a few things that stood out to me, and a few things that I think a lot of Florida Gators fans kind of saw and then or heard, and then had questions about and one of the things that rival fan bases tried to troll about because they have nothing better to do with their lives and that they're going to troll about an injury, is that DJ Lagway was not a full participant. He is expected to participate throughout the entirety of the spring, but will be limited. And I know, again, rivals are going to get their little trolls off that they think are so cute, trolling about an injury. We don't do that here. I'm not going to say I'm the classiest guy, but I'm not trolling about injuries. That's not how I do things. DJ Lagway will participate, but will be limited. I will say this. I'm not concerned at all about the long-term effects of this. I don't think that it's a injury that's going to make him miss the entirety of spring or anything like that. Just seems like he's a bit banged up right now still. And we'll talk about the overall injuries because there was something very noteworthy, I think, from Billy Napier's press conference when he was talking about the injuries. So we will talk about that, but I'm not concerned about DJ Lagway's health long-term at all. I will say that I don't think, because again, rival fan bases, once they heard DJ Lagway was a limited participant, they went, oh, he's injury prone. My understanding is that this is still, like, these are injuries that are from the end of the season last year, that have not just gone away yet, which is expected. I know a lot of people talk about, or not even talk about, but I feel like a lot of people have video game mentality, right? A lot of people have throughout their lives played Madden or played college football or NCAA, whatever it was at the time. A lot of people have played those. And in those, no matter what the injury, it could happen in the Super Bowl, the national championship, whatever it is. But you get to the start of the season and the guys are healthy. The injury's gone. You sim to preseason and everybody's healthy again. That's not how real life works, okay? Again, we'll talk about these a bit later, but I want to make it clear, like, this isn't, oh, well, the season ended a couple months ago. He's back. The season ended just a couple of months ago. I think that's a better indicator for why someone wouldn't be fully healthy, is that, yeah, you had some time off, but when you have injuries, not just being banged up, but an injury, it doesn't heal like that, okay? I'm not concerned about it. It's something that'll be gone, I think, by the spring game, which is in about a month and a week. And then we'll call it at that point. But there are two things here. And I'm going to start with the negative, not because I'm a doom and gloom guy, not because I love being negative. But I'm starting with the negative because I like to end on a positive. Okay? That's how I like to end things. Give me the bad news first and then the good news. So the negative, DJ Lagway is not going to get the full reps that he needs or that a starting quarterback should get. And that does hurt because DJ Lagway could use the development. If we're being completely honest, I get it. What he did as a true freshman was fantastic. He's not a true freshman anymore. Expectations have raised. And again, like I said this before, like he did a great job, but he wasn't perfect at all. He has a lot of room to grow, and that's not an insult. True freshman, a lot of room to go. For a true freshman, great. But overall, yeah, there's definitely room for development there. So he's not getting the full reps, not getting to go out there and actually physically command the offense and go through all the drills, which does matter. But on the positive, it forces the backups to get more reps, right? Like the Florida Gators were in such a rough spot last year when Graham Mertz tore his ACL and then DJ Lagway hurt his hamstring. They were in such a rough, and I know that, they ended up calling it a bone bruise. I don't believe that. I've said that since the beginning. I don't believe that it's a bone bruise. I'm going to stick with that. I don't believe that it was bone bruise. I do think that it was, something with his hamstring. And that they were just trying to downplay it. But you watch the film, he's not nearly as mobile as he was prior to the injury. He wasn't running as much prior to the injury. I think it was more than just a bone bruise, which is whatever. But they were in a really rough spot last year when those two injuries happened at quarterback, and then you had Aiden Warner come in. Not an awesome situation, right? But having DJ Lagway here as a limited participant means that he still gets some reps. And the positive is that the backups get reps with the starters. All right, like that matters because if an injury were to happen at quarterback during the season, I'll knock on wood right now, if an injury were to happen, you will have backups coming in that have now been practicing with the starters. Sure, when Graham got hurt and DJ Lagway came in, it was like, well, he was practicing with the starters anyway. Now he just does it more. But when Aiden Warner came in, Aiden Warner was not taking reps with the starters prior to the injuries. That wasn't happening. So now backups get reps. Harrison Bailey's just coming in from Louisville. He's coming in to get reps, and Harrison Bailey is someone that, again, I think that he's someone that can probably keep the offense on schedule. That's all he has to do. I don't have higher expectations for backup quarterbacks. Keep the offense on schedule. I'm cool with it. So Harrison Bailey gets those reps. He gets to get up to speed as a new guy in the system. Aiden Warner, Clay Millen, they've been here. They know, they last year was their first year in the system for both of them. Now it's year 2, so they should have a little bit of a leg up there. Tramel Jones is someone who last season got hurt right before the start of the season. I think it was a fractured ankle or foot. But he got hurt at week 1 in high school. He played the first game, if I'm not mistaken, got hurt, missed the rest of the season. He's cleared to go. Billy Napier said yesterday he's not 100%, I'm sure. And also, the way that Billy Napier said it was like, Tramel's fully cleared to go. I'm sure he's not 100%, but he's cleared to go, so he'll be participating fully. So he will get up to speed. Like your depth is getting up to speed. That's important for the Florida Gators. So while DJ Lagway isn't a full participant, 1, it's not a long-term thing that concerns me. And 2, it does help backups get reps, which I'm not trying to be sunshine pumpery and go, oh, well, this is a good thing. But I am trying to say that it's not completely negative here. Never call me just a negative Nelly again, because I'm out here trying to do what I always do, which is try to be impartial and honest and unbiased with my opinion. And I try my best at that. Just saying. We are about to talk about the defense because there's something that excited me quite a bit. We'll talk about that when we get back with Locked On Gators. When the games tip off, the NBA action just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I spent a lot of time there. Also, actually, screw the ad read. You want an ad read? I'll give you an ad read. I'm gonna give you a good ad read here for FanDuel from Florida beating Alabama the other night. Okay, it was a good game. Florida won 99-94. I had bet Florida money line at plus 128. That cashed. And they gave a boost for the game. They gave a 30% profit boost for the game. I bet over 187.5, which was plus 198, boosted to plus 258. Both of them cashed. I'm not going to lie. When Alabama had a chance for a while, because, Florida kind of pulled away. But when Alabama had a chance for a while, I was like, okay, even if they win, they're probably hitting the over. They did both. They both cashed. That's your read. That's your read. New FanDuel customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free reviews on the podcast and on YouTube. And while we're talking about the things that Billy Napier said yesterday during his opening press conference for the spring, he also talked about a couple of defensive line things that were notable to me. We'll start with the 5-star, right? We'll start with LJ McCray. Because LJ McCray last year was the second highest rated player in the 2024 class for the Florida Gators. Fourth nationally, if I'm not mistaken, but second in the Florida Gators class behind only DJ Lagway. LJ McCray did not play much. Didn't play much. He was playing the F spot in 2024 behind Tyreek Sapp. But Billy Napier yesterday said that LJ McCray is playing Jack primarily now, which Jack is that stand-up linebacker or the stand-up edge rusher role, which is the outside linebacker, but it's a hybrid 4-2-5, so you're going to see things like that. But LJ McCray is playing Jack primarily, and I say primarily because while, yes, he's maybe technically moved to Jack, Billy Napier did say he still has that positional versatility where he can play F if we need him to. So I do think that he'll get snaps at both when it's all said and done. But LJ McCray playing Jack primarily is big, right? First off, that means more snaps for him. Okay, I know that everybody loves George Gums. I do as well. But I have a feeling that it's more likely George Gums comes off the field than it is that Tyreek Sapp comes off the field a lot. Okay? So LJ McCray playing Jack now means that he's going to get more snaps because George Gums will be coming off the field situationally. And Florida has kind of consistently, at least last year, had two stand-up edge rushers on the field. They did that quite a bit, where it could be George Gums and Jack Pyburn at the same time. It could be George Gums and TJ Searcy, Jack Pyburn and TJ Searcy. They had a lot of guys that would play stand-up edge rusher, and they'd move around. And now that leaves the possibility that Florida could run out there with a rotation up front, a 5-man line, we'll say. I say 5-man line, so it'll be 3 down linemen, 2 stand-up edge rushers, with the 2 stand-up edge rushers being LJ McCray and George Gums. Great. And the interior 3 being Tyreek Sapp, Caleb Banks, and whoever the nose tackle is in that play. Could be Mekhi Boye-Rowe, could be DeAndre Robinson, right? Could be Jamari Lyons when he's healthy. Could be Tarvorius Brown. I apologize if I messed up his name. But that could be a 5-man rotation that you see on the line at some point on the defensive front. Pretty fun, right? And Florida will have that rotation again. You're going to hate it. A lot of people are going to hate it, but it's going to happen, right? So that means that LJ McCray should have been playing significantly more snaps anyway in 2025, but now that number climbs even more with him at Jack full-time or primarily. But it also means that he's going to need to work on his coverage because Florida is going to drop their Jack into coverage quite a bit. It's just what happens. I am interested to see if Florida tries to play LJ McCray in the Jack Pyburn, TJ Searcy type of Jack role, where it's more so about, hey, you're going to be in here situationally. Maybe on first downs, you're the guy in there because that's when teams are more likely to run. So maybe on first down, you're the guy in there and you're going to be like our early down run defender. But crazy thought here, LJ McCray would actually have pass rushing upside, unlike Jack Pyburn. I loved what Pyburn did for Florida, but the dude can't rush the passer. He's horrible at it. Horrible. He doesn't have enough bend or explosive ability to really bull rush an offensive tackle. He doesn't have bend to get around them. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't a good pass rusher. Okay? LJ McCray has pass rush upside at least. So you got that. Other things that Billy Napier talked about on the defensive front, I mentioned potentially Mekhi Boye-Rowe as your nose tackle. Mekhi Boye-Rowe is getting what Billy Napier said yesterday was that Jamari Lyons still not back from the ankle injury that he suffered, a week or two, if that, before the Miami game last year, so before the start of the season. Jamari Lyons still not back from that yet, which is not surprising. Like, I know that there's going to be people that talk about how he should be back by now. Big dudes with ankle injuries, it takes them a while, right? Like I'm just going to be completely honest with you. A big guy like Jamari Lyons coming back, or just his rehab process with a lower leg injury ain't easy, right? So while Jamari Lyons will be back, he's not back yet. In that time, Mekhi Boyero is getting the main snaps with the starting defensive line at nose tackle. That's big. Mekhi Boyero played well last year. I think I've been pretty open about that. Like, I think Mekhi Boyero did a really good job, especially as a true freshman playing nose tackle. Usually those guys need some time in a strength and conditioning program before they're really ready to come in and make a play right away. Mekhi Boyero came in, played pretty well, backing up both Des Watson and Cam Jackson. Now, all those snaps are cleared up. Mekhi Boyero has more snaps to earn there, so he's nose tackle 1 while Jamari Lyons is coming back. And Billy Napier also said, we view Jamari Lyons as a starter. We viewed him as a starter before he got hurt last year. And so now, which is not surprising, Billy Napier has said that multiple times about backups where he's been, we view him as a starter. So I'm not surprised about that. But Jamari Lyons comes back and is a starter. Mekhi Boyero is going to have plenty of experience, at least practice experience, getting reps at nose tackle. Always good for a young developmental player like that. And DeAndre Robinson is getting big end snaps. Billy Napier mentioned Caleb Banks is limited right now. And so DeAndre Robinson is getting more snaps as that big end. They call it big end. It's really a 3-technique nose tackle. He's a defensive tackle, or sorry, not 3-technique nose tackle. Those are 2 completely different things. He's a 3-technique defensive tackle. So he's more up on the guard. He's more thought of as your pass rushing defensive lineman is typically how they're thought of. That's what Caleb Banks played last year. It's what Caleb Banks will play this year. And DeAndre Robinson, mostly what he played last year and mostly what he's going to play this year. But now he's getting more reps. DeAndre Robinson was someone that I didn't really think would play much in 2024. I think if Jamari Lyons was healthy, DeAndre Robinson wouldn't have played much in 2024. But he wasn't. And DeAndre Robinson ended up playing. Needs a lot of work. He was always going to be a developmental piece, which is why I didn't think he would play a ton last year. But he exceeded my expectations. I think he played all right, which, again, I didn't think he was someone that would be seeing the field in 2024. So DeAndre Robinson getting those big end snaps, Mekhi Boyero getting nose tackle snaps, and LJ McCray working at jack. Shifting along the defensive front, but the Florida Gators are looking promising, I'll say, on the defensive line. Florida Gators had, almost just spilled water all over my laptop. That would have sucked. I'm leaving it in there. We make mistakes here. We accept them. The Florida Gators have what I can only describe as hella injuries. That's it. We're going to talk about that when we get back with Locked On Gators. We are all about the stats. Numbers don't lie, right? If you're in a Twitter space, you know I'm the numbers guy, stat guy, whatever. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team, plus the gear, wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada Pro 4X is built for big crews, big adventures, even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada Pro 4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free waves in the podcast and on YouTube. I'm going to see if I can get through this segment without knocking everything over and destroying my laptop. Hopefully not. But the Florida Gators, like I mentioned, the only way I know how to describe it is that they got hella injuries. That's it. That's the only way I know how to say it. We've talked about them. The entirety of this show has been talking about it. DJ Lagway, limited. Tramel Jones, not 100%, but he's going to be playing and participating fully from what Billy Napier said. Jamari Lyons, not back yet from the ankle injury that he suffered at the beginning of the season, or right before the season started last year during fall camp. Caleb Banks is limited with an ankle injury. LJ McCray playing jack linebacker now. No injuries there from what we've heard. That whole position is allegedly healthy, which is huge. But the Florida Gators are really banged up right now. And the injury report that Billy Napier gave during his press conference yesterday was, because I wrote it down, Caleb Banks, Sharif Denson, Chad Gasper, Jameer Grimsley, Aaron Gates, which, by the way, Jameer Grimsley going by Jamrock Grimsley, according to the roster. Aaron Gates, DJ Lagway, Dijon Johnson, Pup Howard, Paul Kessler, Jamari Lyons, Bryce Thornton, Stephon Shivers, Karan Rackley, Trayon Webb, and Trey Wilson are all limited or out, all banged up in some way, shape, or form, right? This isn't me giving away recipes or anything. This is all stuff that Billy Napier said during the press conference. And when I look at those injuries, I see Sharif Denson, Jameer Grimsley, Aaron Gates, Dijon Johnson, Pup Howard, Trayon Webb, Trey Wilson, DJ Lagway. 8 of them are all guys that we know were banged up at the end of the season. I think Caleb Banks is from that as well. Chad Gasper was not with Florida last year, but he tore his ACL during his senior season, and so he's still recovering from that. I don't think we really know what the Paul Kessler injury is. Bryce Thornton was banged up at the end of the season. A lot of these guys were banged up at the end of the season either got hurt during the season, got surgery during the season. Trey Wilson, Aaron Gates got hurt toward the end there. Chad Gasper, like I mentioned, wasn't with Florida, but got hurt during his senior season. So a lot of these guys either got hurt during the season and got surgery during the season, or played through their injuries and then got surgery in the offseason, right? Like that's how a lot of guys worked out. That a lot of guys were playing through injuries in 2024. And once the season ended, they went and got surgery, or they went and got whatever they needed fixed to get fixed. And they did that, right? Devin Moore's cleared, but he's another one that he got hurt during the season and is now expected to be cleared. He wasn't on the injury report that Billy Napier gave yesterday. So while, yes, Florida's really hurt right now, and it's not good to be banged up, I do want to make it clear also that a lot of these are just still from the end of last season. I will also mention that Florida players basically had one less month of recovery time in 2024 to 2025 than they did 2023 to 2024, right? At the 2023 season, the season was over in late November. Season ended, I think November 30th was the game, if I'm not mistaken, which it could be. But season ended then. They played Florida State. They lost to Florida State. They did not make a bowl game in 2023. And so the season was ended. So anybody that needed to get anything done could get it done late November, early December. 2024, they made a bowl game that they played on December 20th. I want to say December 20th. But they played on December 20th. Then they got all the surgeries for a bunch of them. So while they have these same injuries, and every year you're going to have guys that get banged up during the season and then get fixed up after the season, this year compared to last year, one of the reasons that you see seemingly way more injuries in the spring is that they also had one less month of recovery time, which the cost of making a bowl game, right? Like I'd imagine some of the college football playoff teams that played in January and some in mid-January, I'd imagine they've got some pretty banged up guys right now, right? Like Combine had a bunch of Ohio State players, a bunch of Notre Dame players that didn't participate or were participating not healthy because of the end of the season. Things like that are going to happen, right? They just had less time to recover. That's why I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I'm not concerned about it. I'm not. Just because I know that they had less time to recover and that a lot of these are things that happen during the season. Like it's football. I don't know if you know this. This is football. It's not chess. You're not sitting there doing you're out there getting cracked all the time. Like you're out there hitting, getting hit. A lot of physicality. You're going to get hurt. Right now, Florida players are just still recovering from that. It's okay. I think that with all these injuries, you get young players a ton of reps. And that's good. Like, I've been talking about this for the past few days and weeks at this point. Ideally, the young guys that you have in this 2025 class don't play a ton this year, right? They should play rotationally. I've earned snaps as the second or third player at this position. I play a little bit. I rotate in. It is what it is. That's the ideal situation. I hate being a team that is contending and needing a true freshman to step up, unless it's an elite level player, right? A DJ Lagway, a Jeremiah Smith, unless it's an elite player. I don't want to be reliant on a freshman, true freshman. So for Florida, you get to say, hey, these young guys are getting reps with starters and getting reps against guys that are higher levels than them right now. It should speed up their development in a situation where it's not going to kill their confidence, right? This isn't, we went into the game, I got burned for a 70-yard touchdown, we lost, and now my confidence is shot. This is, it's a practice setting. This is where I'm supposed to screw up. It's like I've said, I want DJ Lagway to throw 40 picks in practice because that will help him know what throws he should or shouldn't make in a game. I want DBs to play more aggressive in coverage. Look for making a play on the ball more in practice than in the game because I want you to know what's a situation that you can and can't actually make a play on the ball. I want you to make those mistakes in practice. So this is the perfect time for young players to go make those mistakes and develop without having a situation of getting their confidence destroyed. So injuries suck, but there is a bright spot to it, right? There is a silver lining, light at the end of the tunnel, whatever you want to call it. There is some positivity to take from this. Like I said, start with bad news, end with good news. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free, Rivers in the podcast and on YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back later today with a bonus show. For more Locked On Gators, come here later today for Locked On Gators. I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI, and I'll see you all next time.